All right, guys. Once again, we're live here on YouTube on the main flagship channel, the BP News. And we're going to be talking about what is going on in the world and the news and the world of the spirit too. Why not? Hey, it all intersects in some way. It's all kind of interrelated. Now, to be able to see what's really happening, I believe personally, to understand in its correct context, you have to have that other piece of the perspective that the Bible calls wisdom from above. And somebody in the chat earlier said, "Well, are you the only one that has it, or what?" And I'm like, no. I talk about what Scripture teaches. That doesn't mean I'm the only one that has it. Now, I don't make a claim. I don't say, yeah, I have. I'm not boasting that I have something up on everybody. But hey, walking by faith and not by sight, I have a hope. And I hope that you have the hope too. And I hope that you have the ability to tap in, so that By the way, if I look red, it's because I was out. I had a big old bonfire burning up some old branches that aren't producing any fruit. Actually, we had some trees that fell. I'm burning up some tree limbs and tree stuff, shrubs and things like that. And so it was really hot. So like if I look red or if I look like I'm singed, I think I singed my hair too. I got too close to the fire. But hey, I live dangerously. But we're going to get into a bunch of stuff here. So I hope you guys are all ready. I hope you're all ready. Before we do, I want to wait for a few minutes before everybody gets here, because this is a live broadcast right here on the BP News channel, and I'm expecting some trolls to come in too, because we're looking for some trolls. We need some action. We like to mix it up a little bit and make sure that we love on those trolls and show them the true peace, the true wisdom. When they say fake news, I don't know where they get this idea that. We're basically telling you guys the truth about what's happening. Trump is now saying that everything that's happening in the Gulf is fake news. What you're seeing is fake news. The Iranians don't have control of the Strait of Hormuz, but we need NATO to come and help us. Why do we need NATO, and why do we need all these warships from all these different NATO countries to come help us if Iran isn't a threat? It doesn't make any sense. And yet he's getting mad at people that are reporting what's actually happening, and he's telling everybody that they're treasonous. They're treasonous for reporting what's happening in the Gulf or in the Strait and what's going on there, and how all of these Western interests are being attacked. Well, if they don't have drones and missiles, how is it happening? How is it happening? How can it be fake news? Everything's on fire. The oil is going through the roof. How could it be fake news? How could that be treason to talk about? That sounds very similar to what's going on with Israel. They're saying you can't report on, you can't show the damage, you can't show the incoming missiles, you can't show when they hit and the impact, because we don't want anybody to see it. And if you show it, you're going to get in trouble. We're going to say you're committing treason. Why? What's really going on? We want to know. We don't want to be left in the dark, believing a lie, and then all of a sudden out pops the alien out of the chest of America, and we didn't know it was there. I'd rather know there's an alien in there before it pops out. I gave the illustration of the alien. Hey, Trump's about to reveal alien. He's supposed to be doing this big reveal, according to his daughter. That hasn't actually happened yet. The Epstein files were kind of like that. We're supposed to get a big reveal, right? A big disclosure, but that never happened. That's all fake news, I guess. Oh, but he did say that those who were trying to hold him accountable to revealing what was in the Epstein files, because he said that was he was running on, disclosure and transparency, right? Those people that wanted that, oh, you're fake news. You're agreeing with the fake news Democrats. You just are, you flipped over into becoming a liberal because now you want to hold my feet to the fire of what I promised I was going to show you guys. I just want the truth, man. That's all I want. So all the trolls out there that can't handle the truth, that's not my fault. I'm just reporting to you what's happening in the news. If you can't handle the truth, then go to someone that's going to whisper sweet little lies in your ear and wave the patriotic flag and not tell you what's really going on. They're going to just tell you you're winning. You're winning. You're winning. There's nothing happening. Nobody's coming in in body bags. Nobody's coming in coffins. Don't worry. Everything's fine. Those 5 planes that crashed, they just needed or maintenance or whatever they had. They had maintenance issues. That's all it was. Nothing crashed. Everything's fine. Don't look over there. Did I miss shaving on the right side of my face? No, that's probably the what do you call it? The soot, because I had all kind of burning up the branches. But hey, I don't know. It could be that I haven't shaved the right side of my face. Is this it? No, this side. I don't know. It could be, but it's okay. That you got that one for free. But anyways, it's the left side. I don't know what the left side is. This is my right. This is my left. It's a 5 o'clock shadow. I can feel it. But it's okay. I was thinking about growing it out. Let it get big old, so I can look like a sage. I want to look like a rabbi. You guys can all say, Rabbi, what shall we do, Rabbi? How shall we get sins forgiven? And I'll have a nice big old huge beard, look wise. And anyways. You can't handle the truth. But anyways, so let's see what we're going to get into here today. I'm sitting back watching all this stuff go down with what Trump's saying, and it really looks bad. But it I think what's happening is American people are being set up. They're being set up. What happened to my screen here? I got 2 different screens going here. That's weird. Okay, hold on 1 second here. Okay. The American people, this is my take on this, is the American people are being prepared for a big surprise. And they're being kind of arm twisted into believing and to reporting, because this is also a threat to reporters, that you're going to be committing treason. And you see his post? He said you're committing treason if you're reporting fake news or these AI videos, supposedly these AI videos of what Iran is doing. I guess Iran's posting AI videos, I don't know, of speedboats or something. He mentioned speedboats. But it's kind of a broad brush of just don't report that we're losing or that these terrible things are happening, and that that Iran is actually mounting some kind of valiant defense against what we're doing, and that they seem very confident in what they're doing, and that they still have a lot of missiles and they still have a lot of fight left to be able to keep that strait closed. Because if that strait keeps being closed for another week or two, you're going to see prices up about $8 a gallon, $7 to $8 a gallon. Maybe in California, it could be 10 in some places in Cali, probably more than that even. I think you're about to see $7 to $8 prices in California here within the next week. But here in other parts of the country, you're probably going to be seeing $5 to $6 to $7 a gallon. If these prices, if the oil continues to go up and the strait continues to be shut down, then you're going to realize it's not fake news, right? If NATO doesn't come to the defense of the United States, Trump says, well, they're not going to. I think he threatened NATO countries. That's what I think he just did. He threatened NATO countries that if they don't send their warships into the Strait of Hormuz to help America. But I just keep thinking, well, it doesn't make sense what he's saying, because he's saying that Iran has lost all of its power. It's lost all of its missiles. It's lost all of its fight. There's not a leadership anymore. We can't even negotiate with them because there's no leadership. Well, how in the world are they mounting this continual attack against all of our major interests in all the Middle East, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, UAE, Iraq, the Gulf, they're blowing up ships. I mean, the Citibank building was hit by a big explosion. It was on fire. The whole building was on fire. I mean, supposedly 2 other Citibank buildings were hit too. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff I'm sure we're not being told. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of other things that not being told. But, it was a broad brush kind of threat that if you reported AI videos, and by the way, how do we even know what's AI now anyway? Because AI is so good at faking videos. It's getting very difficult. Now they say once there's a different type of AI. It's called I think it's called AGI, Artificial General Intelligence, which is supposed to be happening anytime. They're saying it could be happening even now. They might even have it now. They probably already do. The government probably already has it. But when this actually comes on the scene, you won't be able to tell what's real and what's fake. And then there's another one that comes after this. I think it's artificial superintelligence, and that's even way beyond anything that we can even fathom, right? That's just going to be the end of civilization as we know it. But really, they're rolling out the digital tracking and tracing of every human being right now. By the way, the legislation, I posted the video for the rollout of this legislation for the framework and the infrastructure of the digital ID, which encompasses everything that is going to be attached to your biometric. Who knows if it's not going to be inside your physical body, but I think it does have the, that whole Microsoft patent that has actually got 666 in it. That's weird. That talks about devices in your body that track and reward you with cryptocurrency. That's kind of weird. So you got to wonder if there's not the attachment of the digital currency, because they're supposedly flipping over into digital currency, right? This is what is going on right now with the collapse of the dollar. I think and here's another thing that Iran said. They're not letting anything pass through the Strait of Hormuz unless it's being dealt in Chinese dollars or the yuan, right? If it's not coming through, it's because it's dealing with the West, right? It has something to do with the U.S. dollar. They don't want any U.S. dollars flowing through the Strait of Hormuz. So they're cutting off anything that has to do with the U.S. dollar. Anything else can pass through because they want to see the dollar collapse, right? And maybe that's part of the plan. And I don't know, maybe this is WWE, where Trump is like faking and feigning, like he's, in a position where he's like, oh, this is terrible. Like, oh, we can't have this. But because of the crisis that I think is coming, the shock that is coming to our economy and to the world, I think that it's going to bring about this desperation for intervention by the average person. They're going to be calling out to government to intervene. And this is possibly what they really want in some way. They're going to take, the collateral damage, if you will, in order to get the system up and running. And, it's kind of like a sacrifice. It's a ritual, probably some kind of high level satanic ritual, if you ask me. But, and I don't know if you understand. Some of you, most of you do understand. How many of you guys know what I'm talking about? Type 1 in the chat if you understand, if you're on the same page. Some people maybe don't have the background to understand the frame of thought or the track of thought that I'm on. But just so that you get the pieces and, you've put them all together, you got to watch our channel consistently to kind of stay up to speed on what we're talking about. And if you're a person that's a longtime watcher and listener, you'll know exactly what we're talking about. You've seen all the videos, all the evidence, all the background information that verifies what we're talking about, and what they're up to and what they're about to do, what they're about to do too. And this gives you an insight into your future. I mean, you should be able to see what's coming. If you can't see what's coming, and you're upset at me, it's because you're fearful, you want to believe lies, and either that or you're just, I won't say that, but I'll stir up some more hornet nests out there. I always say if the shoe fits, wear it, right? If what I'm saying hits you right between the eyes, then that means it's for you. But if it doesn't, then just move on and ignore it. There's that whole saying, if you're hating somebody, you're still bound to that person. Love and hate are kind of an attachment. If you have indifference and you don't really care, that means you don't. There's nothing there. That's probably the worst thing that you could have for a person that doesn't want to even think about, doesn't even care. Like if you don't care, then it doesn't mean anything. That person doesn't mean anything. They don't exist, right? But if you hate that person, you're still attached emotionally to that person, whether you realize it or not. So, people say, well, got Trump derangement. So no, I don't even hate Trump. I don't hate Trump at all. I know he's a part of God's plan, but not in the way a lot of people think he is. There's a lot of people that were a part of God's plan. Haman was a part of God's plan. Pharaoh was a part of God's plan. Judas was a part of God's plan. He was chosen before all this happened for that particular purpose, to hand over Jesus. So there's a lot of purposes that are already predestined that are part of God's plan that you should accept. Why would you want to get, why? That's why it says don't resist an evil man. When it says don't resist an evil man, it's talking about the ultimate purpose behind all things work together for good for those who love God and to those who are the called according to his purpose, right? Why would you resist that evil that's involved? You remember Joseph said, you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. Even though you tried to kill me, hey, I forgive you. God wanted me to go ahead of you so that I could ultimately save, the lineage of Abraham, or of Abraham and his lineage, right? Or Jacob, I should say Jacob, because it was ultimately Israel, right? And the 12 sons. So that ultimately brought about the Messiah, right? So what happened? God sent Joseph ahead of his brothers, even though they tried to kill him. Everything was turned around for good. So why would you resist the evil that ultimately catapulted you into a place of great prominence to ultimately bring deliverance to the whole world, right? If God before you, who can be against you? Nobody. Nobody can be against you. That's why it says don't resist an evil man. Now it doesn't mean to not resist evil, because obviously we pray against, we pray for his will to be done, and his will is going to ultimately vanquish all evil. But it's not going to happen right away. There's always going to be this current of evil things that happen in the world. Why do bad things happen to good people, right? That's the question that we all ask. Why? Why does that happen? And there are reasons that we doubt sometimes why these things happen. Why would a good God let that happen? But things are going to happen, and prophecy is real. When you do study the scriptures, they do talk about things that are to come. And we can see those things lining up with our current news cycle right now. And if you don't see that, it's because maybe you don't know, you haven't studied. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but, get up to speed on it. But even if you don't know what prophecies are coming to pass right now, the best thing you could do is get to know Jesus, right? Spend time getting to know him and his word, and understand that he's real. And by his Holy Spirit, he'll lead you into all truth. And that starts first with seeking the kingdom, right? Seek first the kingdom, the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. He's the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Now, that whole thing with Ted Cruz talking about how when you say Jesus is king, that you're somehow an anti-Semite. Did you see that clip the other day? What in the world? The whole thing about Jesus is that he's a king. He is King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Yes, his kingdom is going to be forever and ever. And yes, there was history that shows that he was turned over to the Romans. If you see that clip, Ted Cruz is completely out of his mind for saying this, but he's basically equating anybody that says Jesus is king to an anti-Semite. Where in the world does that come from? Like, what's going on there? And I was thinking about Trump's administration right now. He's got these guys up there that are like Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio is a part of the establishment. You know that, right? Witkoff, Kushner. I mean, he's not actually, I don't think, on the cabinet, but all these people that are very closely associated with Trump, even the tech giants, right on day one, that's completely, that's what you call corporatism. When the state and corporations wed their power to exert its influence, that's what you call corporatism. And what is corporatism? Anybody know? How many out there know what kind of government corporatism is? When you have corporate influence over government, what does that become? Does anybody know historically what that means? What kind of government did we see in history's past that was run by corporations or influenced highly by corporations? Anybody know? I'm kind of curious. Anybody here know? Let's see if anybody knows what we're talking about here. I'm not going to say it. I just want to see. There you go. Mr. Drockballer said it perfect. He said it. He's got the prize right there. So in the chat room, if you see Mr. Drockballer, he understands what corporatism is. When the state uses corporations to gain power, strength, and finance, and ultimately run things. Exactly. And you could say Wall Street, but what we're seeing right now is a buildup and a great influence of money that's building up for another world war is what it is, really. But it's much more than even that, I think. I think it's much more than just a third world war. I do think it's the unfolding biblical prophecies of the scriptures. Now, a lot of the faiths believe this. Even Netanyahu was saying this yesterday, or the day before yesterday when he was on his video talking. Everybody said it was AI. And he was talking about how the Messiah was coming, and he's ushering in the Messiah. Well, the Iranians are saying the same thing. They're ushering in their Mahdi. It's all happening right now. Christians are saying the same thing. Why is this happening? Tell me. I know it's a lot of religious. Somebody that's not in any of the faiths would think that everything's going off the rails and it's crazy. The whole world's going to blow up because of crazy religious fanatics. But it's actually a part of the plan that is chronicled in Scripture that reveals what is to happen in the future. And if you really study it, you'll see how it fits and how other religions like Islam and Judaism interpret those moments in time. So, it's relevant to our news cycle. That's why I talk about it. Most people don't talk too much about prophecy in the context of news, but we do right here. We do. Another thing that I think that's good there, CSC drivers, about are you come to take a spoil? What is that referencing? That references when all the nations begin to converge and even conspire in some way against Israel. And that doesn't mean that Israel's right before God. Now, God has a plan for Israel. He's using the land as a time. I think it's like it's like an end time sign, the culmination of the age, going back to the original place where Christ himself walked on this earth, right? In the context of what is now today Palestine or Israel, that these things would begin to be confirmed by things that were happening in proximity to this state or to this land. God has a covenant with the land. He has a covenant with anyone who, we call the new covenant, anyone that comes to him, through the Messiah. That's why the Jews are looking for their Messiah, because they know that it's a vital part of being in covenant with their Creator, but they haven't seen and they don't understand. They rejected that new covenant. And that's why they were vomited out of the land for 2,000 years. Jesus told them that your house is left to you desolate. Why didn't they become an empire like the Persians that continued on for 2,500 years? 2,500 years. Why didn't they continue on? Because they were expelled at the rejection of he came to his own and his own received him not. Right? And they turned him over. Yes, the Romans also were a part of the crucifixion. You could say that it's not an anti-Semite thing. All of humanity is to blame ultimately for the rejection of Christ, because really he was there to do a deep spiritual reconciliation of those who receive him. And there's only going to be a certain percentage of people that actually do, a small remnant, right? The wide gate that leads to destruction, many there be that enter in. The narrow gate that leads to life, very few be that find, right? There's only a few. When you take the culmination or the whole of humanity that's ever lived, it's obviously a big company of people, but I think percentages wise, the majority of people don't receive. They don't see it. They don't get it. They don't take the time. They don't sacrifice. If they do see it, they don't really commit. They are either half-hearted or, and half-hearted people aren't going to really understand the full reasons for why they're even, who he really is anyway, because he doesn't reveal himself fully to those people. It's kind of like God gives you a little bit of, you give a little bit, God gives you a little bit. You give your whole life, God gives you everything that he is. I mean, God's a lot bigger than you are. Why wouldn't you give everything that you are, right? So that you can figure out these things. But you got to give yourself wholeheartedly to the pursuit of it. Otherwise, you'll never figure it out. You'll never figure it out. You'll just be wondering as you're wandering. And I always like that saying. But anyways, let's go back and look at some of this news that's going on here. And I forgot to post. There we go. I forgot to post on my Telegram, guys. There we go. Telegram people, you're on. Now make sure you guys get connected to the app. The app is the most important thing because there's going to be censorship. We told you censorship was coming. Did we not? I think this is the app. Let me see. Is this the right one? Let me see. Robert here at BP News. Wanted to let you know that we've got the early warning alert system set up. It is the BP News app. Don't miss out on breaking news when it happens in real time. You will get a push notification and or a text alert. In order to get the text alert, once you download the app, make sure you hit the right top hand corner icon, little person icon up there, and register with your phone number, and that way we can send you a text alert. Otherwise, just use it as a guest and get the push notification. That comes directly through the app, and you'll see an alert when we go live. Stay in touch with all of our social media as well here at BP News. God bless. Get set up. Don't miss it. And for those who are wanting to have food security, make sure you get yourself set up on non-GMO, non-pesticide, urban, have a freedom garden right inside your house. If you're an urban person, you don't live in a place where you can grow veggies. I'm going to tell you what, prices are going to skyrocket. You might not even find, I really think it's going to get that bad. I think prices of gas and fuel are going to go through the roof, and it's going to be affecting everything. You thought 2020 was bad with the shortages? It's not even close to what I think is coming. You better get ready before it hits. You don't want to be running to the store like everybody else in a big old herd mentality, fighting for the last bit of toilet paper and whatever meat is still left or whatever cheese or milk or whatever, trying to fight. Just stock up on things that, get some things that are non-perishable, powdered milk, for instance. You get some powdered milk, get some freeze-dried stuff, get some, basic staples. If you knew that there was going to be a long-term shortage and you knew there was going to be food riots, what would you do? Hey, if it doesn't happen, at least you have a little bit of food security, right? But I'm just going to tell you, look what's going on in the rest of the world. I always say this, when it begins to affect the poor countries, it's going to come up. When the poor people start disappearing, there's a reason why. When the honeybees disappear, it's going to affect your food. The worker bees are gone. Your food doesn't get pollinated. It's not going to grow anymore, and you're going to starve. So when you start seeing the bees dying out, or you start seeing it affecting like poorer countries, there are food riots. It's happening everywhere now. A lot of the African countries, Cuba, Iran, they're out of water right now. Iran they're going to die in 3 days. You can die in 3 days without water. They already had water issues. They were being controlled by their government by water. That's how they control people, by food and water. When they can control the food and the water, they can control you, right? And that's what they were doing in Iran. Now that the water is being affected, these salination plants, we bombed a salination plant, or we bombed a few of them, I guess. How are these people going to survive? The power's off. Look at what's going on in Cuba. Southeast Asia, they have no gas. There's no gas. And they drive little motorcycles. They usually go to the store and they buy like little pints of gas for their motorcycles. They can't even get that. How do you think this is going to affect you? Do you think it's going to affect America, or are we like in a little bubble over here? We're like, it's not going to affect us. That's what I said back in 2020. I was the first one covering what was going on in China. Early January. Nobody else was covering it on YouTube. Nobody. And I was telling people, I can't believe what I'm watching happening here. I said, this is going to affect us. You better get ready. I said, people better get ready. You have no idea what's going on and how it's going to affect us. People were like, what? Are you sure? Are you sure not fear-mongering? Robert, you're trying to scare us. Why are you saying all this? Because you can see it coming. Open your eyes. Use your, use some foresight. Look at what's coming. Look at the patterns of how it's affecting other nations. It's coming to you as well. It's coming to us. It's going to affect us. It's already affecting us. People don't even realize how it's affecting us already. And it has a lot to do with our dollar and our politics and what they plan. And I say what the plan is. There is a plan. And this is all part of the plan. This war was part of the plan. COVID was part of the plan. It's all about this digital rollout of the ID and controlling everybody. AI and robotics, automation. You're going to lose your job in about 3 or 4 years. Nobody's going to have a job. This is what universal basic income is. Nobody's going to have a job, and everybody's going to have to whoever's still alive is going to be having to give some kind of income to survive. But you got to toe the party line. You got to be a good citizen, right? Are you a good citizen or a bad citizen? Well, you're going to have a little thing that's going to tell you, like I think you do in China right now, social credit score. Well, we heard what you said or where you were at. We saw your IP connected to this person. Bad company corrupts digital currency. We're not going to give it to you now. You're not going to be able to travel. You're not going to be able to rent a house or apartment or whatever. You have food rations and you have a gas ration if you have a car, if you can even get one, because you were a naughty citizen or netizen. We saw what you did. Our eyes are everywhere. We were hearing and listening to everything that you said in your car, on your smart devices, your smart thermometers or your thermostats, your smart TV, your smartphone, your car. Everything's spying on you anyway. And wherever you go, your internet of eyes are all over the place. Internet of bodies, whatever that means. If you don't got that one down yet, you better figure out what internet of bodies are. And just the whole AI infrastructure. It has to do with satellites. It has everything. Everything's being watched, tracked. It's being set up right now. Now, the thing I was going to tell you about California is that they're rolling out this new law basically for the children, right? It's always for the children. It's the children. It's for the children's safety. We have to do this thing for the children. But really what it is, it's a rollout for the infrastructure for digital ID and tracking and tracing of everything that you are all in one place, centralized data and information. What you spend, your bank accounts, your health records, your driver's license, everything about you, your internet history, whatever you do when you log into any kind of digital device. It could even be your car. It won't work unless you have your digital ID. Nothing will work because it's going to all take a portal for you to go through. You got to hear this video. This guy, I posted it on our Telegram page, and this guy's high-level IT programmer. He basically breaks it down into layman's language so that you can kind of figure out what's coming. This is happening right now in California, and it's happening all over the world, but they're getting ready to usher this in. And maybe this is what the crises are all about. It's to keep us safe. We got terrorists everywhere. We need this technology to keep us so we know who we are. We got to know who's who. I got to know who that person is. Does that person really, is that an AI, is that a person that's AI, what do they call it now, where they got these holograms, AI hologram? Now, I'm not saying it's a hologram, but, everything like online now, you can't tell. How do we even know it's real? You got to log in. You got to have your credentials. How do we know this is a real person? They got to log in. It's attached to their digital ID. It shows all their biometrics. It actually shows their heartbeat and their everything that you know about that person, their cholesterol level, their what kind of sicknesses they have. It's all connected to you, and you're going to know that person is legit, supposedly. Right? But that's a good thing. You don't have nothing to hide, do you? Don't you? You don't have nothing to hide. Why don't you want to give up your blood and everything else? Open up. Just let them put whatever they want inside you. That's what John MacArthur said. He's a big, he passed away not too long ago, but he said, he's telling Christians this. Hey, I go everywhere, and if they want to vaccinate me, I'll let them. If I have to get somewhere, I don't know what's in it. And do I know what's in it? No, I don't. But I trust them. Like, really? You trust them? I don't trust anybody. Do you trust Do you trust? The biggest killer of Americans is medical malpractice. Did you know that? More people die of anything. You can list out like alcoholism and, car wrecks and fentanyl. You can go down the whole list. The highest rate of death in America, and probably the world, it's probably just America though, is medical malpractice. So do you trust? I mean, this is why you got to, like Reagan said, trust but verify. Get like 5 different opinions. I wouldn't just trust one person, because there's a big financial interest. It's kind of like a conflict of interest, but it's like COVID. Remember when COVID happened? They were giving hospitals, if you put them on a ventilator, which kills most everybody that's on a ventilator died, like 90%. You put them on a ventilator, we're going to give you $100,000. If they die, we'll give your hospital $200,000. If you're a doctor and you prescribe the shot to them, well, we're going to give you like a certain amount of money for that. Like you do like 50 or 100 people that are on your list, you're going to get $20,000 extra dollars. So it's not really about, is it safe and effective, or do you have informed consent, or do you even know what's in it? Just trust the doctor, because he's got a white suit on and he's got a financial interest underneath his demeanor of wanting to be your health guide. He's going to somehow help you, but they're just human. They have financial interests, and maybe they get tired and they don't really care. And maybe they have their Hippocratic oath isn't what they really even care about. They're just there to make money in the end. Who knows? Now, I'm not saying all doctors and nurses and people in the medical field are like that, but there are people that are. And hospitals in general, like you're talking about a corporate entity, they've got a bottom line. Hey, how many of these ventilators can we get in here? How many people can we get on this ventilator? Do everything you can to put somebody else on that ventilator, because our hospital's going to get $200,000 for that person that's on that ventilator. And if they die, well, we get another $100,000. Oh, well, accidents happen. We don't know. We just, their heart just stopped. Their liver shut down. We gave them all the protocols, and the protocol was killing people too. That's why I say, do you really trust? Do you really trust the plan? Do you really trust your life with the plan? And if it does happen to end your life, obviously, people were like, they wouldn't know anyway. They're a lot of times people are like sheep anyway. They don't even know what's going on. They just end up dying, and they don't know what happens when they die. They don't even know why they died. I'm sure they're on the other side thinking, what happened? Like, hopefully they were saved. But, hi, we're from the government. We're here to help. Really? Oh, okay. Yeah. But anyways, and nobody could figure out why New York didn't trust Trump's ventilators. I know Trump was the biggest producer of ventilators. They shut down the car manufacturers to produce as many ventilators. And he was so happy about being the biggest producer of ventilators in the world. We were sending them out everywhere. And like I said, it was over 90% of the people that got on a ventilator died. So they were just killing machines. Those were just killing machines. I mean, you're sending out killing machines. Why? Like putting people on a ventilator. Russ Dizdar, I think, was on a ventilator, and so was Rob Skiba. Remember you guys know who Rob Skiba was, right? And Russ Dizdar was, and his wife, they were putting on ventilators. People were putting on ventilators because they were scared to death. They had something, they didn't know what it was, and there was a bunch of fear, and they were being guided by that fear. Well, give me whatever it takes. Whatever it takes to save me. I'll put my trust in you. Well, here, you need to put, first they're going to drug you up and they're going to put you on a ventilator. Remember that guy that they interviewed, that one dude? He got in a car wreck and he was in the car was upside down, and he kind of woke up and he was like all freaked out. And the ambulance drivers come in. This was during COVID. And they come in and they're like, calm down, dude. He's all freaked out because he just got in a wreck, and his car's upside down, and he's like on the top of the hood, and he's like inside, and they're trying to get him through the window, and he's like, oh, no. Well, we'll give you this just to calm you down, man. You're freaking out. Here, just give us your arm. And he's like, all right. They give him a shot, right? And then he wakes up in the hospital, and he's got a vent in his mouth, and they I don't know what, they gave him all kinds of drugs, but he woke up out of this coma. They put him in a drug-induced coma, and he wakes up out of this coma, and the nurses are freaking out because that doesn't normally happen, right? And he pulls the vent out of his throat, and he gets up and he gets out of the hospital. He's like, "What the hell are you doing?" He's like, "What are you doing? What is going on? I wasn't sick." He's like, "No, you have COVID. You have COVID." "Oh, I do? Well, I don't feel sick. I got this thing stuck down my throat. I woke up. I'm getting out of here." And he got out of the hospital, and then he gave testimonies all over the place. Remember that guy? We need a rant stopwatch, Killer Kyle. I'm on a rant. I am on a rant. Yes, absolutely. Well, I mean, this is just trust your friendly government representative because they're there to help, right? The greatest miracle that ever graced God's green earth was warp speed, right? Warp speed. All right, so I'll try to get into the news. Let's see. And I don't know if there's a big news cycle today. I think it's kind of lulled. It's Sunday. But Trump did say some stuff today that I thought was interesting. Here's some current news. Trump claims that Iran is. Wait, I'm sorry. That was the title. President Trump considers boots on the ground to seize Iran's Karag Island oil depot. This is according to Axios News. Is this fake news? Are we worried that this is fake news? No, it's right there. Okay, this is right here. Boots on the ground to take over that island. Now, I guess that's one of the biggest producers and maybe refiners of oil for Iran. And I guess it's an island. Let's see what that island is. So we bombed. We don't want to destroy their infrastructure yet until we can actually take possession of it. Kind of like what we did with Venezuela. Remember, I told you the reason why we probably went into Venezuela was to secure the oil fields for and in preparation for World War III. Remember, I told you guys that? I said, I think this is what it is. It's a preparation that we want to get as much energy in our back door. It really isn't about drugs. It's not about them little drug boats. Are we still blowing up drug boats? I don't think so. I think we achieved our objective, and now we're in the door, and, you know, whatever it was that facilitated us to get in there to get the oil fields, right? But it was about getting prepared for the oil in you know, this oil crisis that we're in, right? That's one of the biggest oil producers in the world is Venezuela. They're bigger than Saudi Arabia. So we took over all that. You don't hear anything about that anymore, right? But it's going to take a while to develop and to get that out because there still is a lot of opposition and there still is conflict. We don't know what's going on there. So how long does that take to get all that out and get it to where we need it so we could use it? Who knows? Trump says that U.S. and Cuba, Trump says U.S. and Cuba, quote, will pretty soon either make a deal or do whatever we have to do. We're talking to Cuba, but we're going to do Iran before Cuba. We're going to do Iran before we do Cuba. Make a deal. Wham. Sounds kind of dicey to me. President Putin and his special envoy Kirill Dmitriev says that oil prices will surge over $150 a barrel in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So you can say if your prices right now are like $5 a gallon, just cut that in half and add it to what price you already have. So it'll be another $2.50. Your price at the pump is going to be about $7.50 to $8 a gallon. If your prices are $6 a gallon right now, you can cut that in half 3, and you can add it to 6. Your prices are going to be $9 a gallon. And if it happens to go over 200, which they're saying is very possible, and even higher than that, could be $300 a gallon. Just calculate how much your food, if you're even going to get your food trucked to your store, is it even going to get there? Are they even going to? Like I said, this is why Trump is doing everything he can to say it's all fake news, that Iran is not actually doing what they're doing. Stop reporting that they're shutting down the Strait of Hormuz because they're not able to do that. We've already defeated them. But hey, we need an armada from NATO to come help us because we can't do it alone. We need a bunch of warships to come in there. He named off Britain and Poland. I mean, he named them all off. France. I think he named like 6 or 7 NATO countries that need to come and help us. Or we're going to remember. We're going to remember this. It just sounds crazy to me. You know, it sounds crazy to me. Dubai International Airport has been temporarily shut down and suspending flights. So there's no flights going out of Dubai, right? Dubai, huge, modern, one of the most modern cities in the world, the richest oil city. This is a city that was built by oil in the world. Shut down. This is a drone strike near Dubai International Airport, and it's causing a large fire. So this is why they've shut down the airport there. Let's go ahead and look at that. So this is the fire that's going on right now in Abu Dhabi. That's a pretty big fire. I don't know if that's an oil fire or if that's some kind of, I don't know what that is. Maybe it's a plane? Looks like something. It's a fire. It's a fire, all right. Maybe it's part of the hot economy that we're now beginning to see. It's a hot economy. We're on fire, man. We're We've got a hot economy like we've never seen before. I mean, we're just going to talk, and this is what I think is happening. Like there's this talking up of everything, and everybody wants to believe. Everybody wants to trust the plan. Everybody's hoping that he knows what he's talking about. Everybody's hoping that, everybody's going along with this and that they're going to be intimidated into going along with the program. And, but if it doesn't happen, then it's all going to blow up. It's like a building pressure. You just keep building pressure because he's not letting out the pressure. He's not letting everybody see what's going on. He's telling everybody what to do, how it's going to be. And then what happens? You build up the pressure. And then what happens? Sudden destruction, explosions that are uncontained, catastrophic. I hope that it doesn't go that way, but there's a possibility that this could just blow up in our face. It's already blowing up. I mean, it could get worse. It could get worse than what it already is. I mean, it's bad already. It's bad already. You could say it's fake news, Robert. This is fake news you're talking about. Well, because, it's funny because I looked at a few comments on one of my videos yesterday, and I had comments saying it's fake news. This is fake news, Robert. This is fake news. Your channel is fake news. But it coincided with what Trump said. So people are just looking at what Trump says. Oh, Trump says it's fake news. This is fake news, what you're saying. Oh, really? Well, I don't know what to tell you, man. Go to a channel that's going to tell you what you want to hear. Why are you here watching fake news? I wouldn't give myself to. I don't sit and watch fake news channels. If there's a channel that's spewing a bunch of hogwash and foolishness, do I spend time sitting there trying to correct them and help them to figure it out? No, I don't even care. I'm trying to focus on what's helping me to understand what's going on. I don't have time for that. So why are you here? Because you know it's true. Because you just hate the truth, but you know it's true and you can't stop watching. But anyways, let me see if I can pull this up here. What are we looking at? We're looking at our Telegram page here. Telegram. All right, so here we are on my Telegram. If you're not a part of the Telegram page, get connected to the Telegram page. Killer Kyle says, what's the name of the bomb song? I can't really play it because it has like a copyright to it, but I still have it somewhere. That's an old one. That's a good one. I don't think it's on YouTube anymore. YouTube scrubs a lot of stuff, but anyways. Trump has now called on NATO to help the United States in the war with Iran. They've been completely decimated. They've been completely neutralized. Their Navy's gone. Their high command is gone. They've just got a few little drones left and maybe a little missile or two, but still we need your help. We can't do it alone. We need your help to open the strait. It's not open. Please. We're in desperation. Desperation mode here. Oil industry warns President Trump's energy crisis will likely worsen. This is the Wall Street Journal. Wall Street Journal. Brent crude opens at 106. Let's see what it is right now. Just kind of curious. Let's take a look. Price of oil. Oh, it's almost at 100. We're at almost $98. $98. What about silver? Let's see. Silver and gold. Let's see if that's factoring into the craziness. It seems like silver has kind of gone up and down. It's at $80. $80 an ounce. It's not really going down too much. I mean, it's gone down a good 10, 15 bucks, but nothing compared to what it went up to. It's really high for where we're at. I think it's actually, I think it's going to get a lot higher, but I think that they really want to try to push people into Bitcoin. They're really trying to put people's trust in the digital stuff. So I could see that they might want to pump up Bitcoin. Bitcoin is now at 73, and it did make a big jump once Trump said a few things. See, they hang on what Trump says, And because Trump says it, it's got to be right. It's going to affect the markets, right? Trump says one thing, even though it may not be anywhere close to being true. The market's just, woo! It's like hopium. It's like, we feel good. All right, let's just invest money. The markets they're on fire. It's a fire. This is on fire. Our stocks are going through the roof to the moon. But suddenly, he will destroy wonderfully, it says. And I think you better be careful for that. For that, just that reason right there. Because suddenly, be careful. Strait of Hormuz could become the kill box for U.S. sailors if Trump sends deadly warships to battle Iran drones. To battle Iran drones to troubled waterway. This is according to the Daily Mail. So the Daily Mail is showing some of these ships, these tankers. That's an American flag tanker right there that was on fire. And there's been a whole bunch of tankers that have been hit. And, you could say that's fake news or that's the AI. I'll just tell you, why is Trump calling for help from NATO then if it's all fake? Pretty clear to me that it's not fake. It's being projected that peak war panic could hit the global financial system in 1 to 3 weeks. I think it's going to be probably within a week. Global financial panic on the war. And it's going to affect all the markets. It's going to affect the dollar. It's going to affect everything. Worst case, and this is why I'm trying to tell you guys, get ahead of the panic. Get what you need to get now. I say you should have got oil or gas. If you had the ability to stock up on gas, you should have done it. You can still do it now. I mean, obviously it's still low compared to what it's going to be. I mean, it's going to still go up. It could go up another $5 a gallon. It could go even worse. You might not even be able to find it. You might get a big old sign that says out of gas. So how much is that worth to you? Get out there and get it. Same with food. If they're out of gas or diesel goes up through the roof, do you think it's going to be beneficial for these truckers to truck food at a loss? Do you think they're going to truck the food when they're losing money? It's already hard enough for the truckers to make any money right now. You think they're gonna do it out of the goodness of their heart, and they're just gonna go ahead and like Trump was saying, well, the TSA workers are out there in the goodness of their heart. They're out there. I won't forget you. Just what Trump said. I won't forget you, TSA workers, for going to work. You're going to work. I appreciate that. I won't forget you. Oh, really? What? If anything is trusting Trump's word as a track record, where's the $5,000 stimulus check that we were supposed to get for all that money that Doge supposedly found? Where's the $2,000 stimulus check that everybody was supposed to get? And we're talking about every American citizen for all the tariff money that was coming in. All that tariff money. Where's the disclosure on Epstein? Where's the disclosure on the aliens? That was supposed to happen. Rolling back abortion. You said you were going to get rid of abortion. Well, that came back with a vengeance, and now it's even more abortions than have ever happened in our history are happening now. What about getting America healthy? Getting rid of all these chemicals and these pesticides that are killing people. They said they were going to do. The big advocate, RFK Jr., who can't even stand up to the president, he just goes along with whatever the president tells him. They're not doing it. They said they were going to do it. Now they're not. So people, the order of the day is just, what do they call it? When you just kind of, you're just keeping the status quo. You're not changing anything. A worst-case scenario could be just weeks away. Traffic through the Strait of Hormuz has been essentially paralyzed by the war with Iran, and there is a lot of speculation that the Houthis could soon bring commercial traffic through the Red Sea to a screeching halt as well. And that's what I think it's going to come to. You're going to see a lot of these straits, different parts of the world, are going to be under attack. and this is another one. The Houthis are going to start this war. Dan Alamari, the chief geopolitical strategist at Alpine Marco, is warning that if this war with Iran persists, we could see peak war panic in approximately 1 to 3 weeks. But this is a mostly peaceful conflict. You know, Trump has said eternal. I'll show you what he said. He said eternal. He said everlasting peace. Everlasting peace. Where did he say this? Oh yeah, here's the one with the TSA. Thank you, Johnny Jones, and all of our great TSA agents who are going to work but not being paid because of the radical left Democrats who refuse to honor the deal that was approved and voted in Congress. They want your money to go to the border criminals, murderers, foreign drug dealers, and some of the worst people on earth. They don't want it to go to you. Keep fighting for the TSA. Go to work. I promise that I will never forget you. Unless, of course, I go bankrupt. Then you don't get it paid. Then you don't get anything. Let's see. Here's some more fake news. Fake news! Media hates to report how well the United States military has done against Iran, which is totally defeated and wants a deal. Oh, they do. They want a deal. But I keep hearing Iran keep saying, we don't want a deal. I don't know why Trump keeps saying we want a deal. We don't want to deal with you guys. We're not dealing with you anymore. You've already stabbed us in the back twice, and we're not going to deal with you anymore. Now all you get is war. That's what they've said. They've said it time and time again now in the last week. They said it. And they know Trump is doing this to try to, get ahead of the markets. Really, it's about trying to alter the markets. He's trying to make sure that the markets don't crash by saying all this. Hopefully he's hoping that you don't really actually look at the news. And if you do, it's fake. Don't look at it. It's fake. And those people that are saying all this stuff, they're treasonous. They're treasonous. The people that are speaking the truth are going against the fake news is what it really is. But not a deal that I would accept. So he's saying, they want to make a deal, but I'm not going to accept it. Thank you for your attention. I'm above them. We're not going to make a deal. But they want a deal. They really do. They really love me, but I don't love them. I just want everybody to know I don't love them. Nope. I rejected them. It sounds like a jilted lover, like a jilted lover. No, I don't really like them anyway. Nope. No. I just rejected him. I just rejected her. Even though she crushed my heart, I really don't love her. Nope, I rejected her. I told her no. I hung up on her. Yet again, an internationally misleading headline by the fake news media about the 5 tanker planes that were supposedly struck down at the airport in Saudi Arabia and of no further use. In actuality, the base was hit a few days ago. But the planes were not struck or destroyed. 4 of the 5 had virtually no damage. Virtually. So, 4 of them, up to 5, had virtually no damage. And they're already back in service. They're already flying. One had slightly more damage, but will be in the air shortly. None were destroyed or close to that, as well as the fake news said in the headlines. The New York Times and the Wall Street Journal in particular, and other low-life papers and media actually want us to lose the war. Their terrible reporting is the exact opposite of the actual facts. They are truly sick and demented people that have no idea the damage that they caused the United States of America. Fortunately, as proven by our great and conclusive election win in 2024, the people of our country understand what is happening far better than the fake news media. President Donald. Well, that's great. But I hear this all the time out of Trump's mouth. It's like he has to remind us all the time. This is fake news. You guys elected me. and we understand the plan. It's like trying to keep people's mind in a state of, like, we understand it. You are telling us the truth. Everything is fake news outside of that. If anybody does anything that says anything contrary to what you're saying, it's fake news. We understand, Trump. Yeah, you are the greatest. We understand that Biden is terrible. And then he tried to suck our country dry and open up the borders and did all these terrible things to our children and transgender mutilation. And you're here to save us. You're going to make America great again, and the economy is going to roar back. It's actually on fire right now. We just don't know it. We got low egg prices. That should tell you right there. Gas prices were low. But we're not supposed to be in a global war. We're not supposed to be in an endless war. This is all fake news, what you're seeing right now. You know, the thing that's going viral right now is that video where Trump said to, under Obama, when Obama was president, he said, oh, this endless war. Obama just wants to get us into World War III and with Iran, and he's going to get us into World War III. And he's talking at, how terrible this is and condemning him and saying that he's a failed president. Any president that would do this is a failed president. And look at, Obama never got us into a war with Iran, but hey, is he talking to himself? I mean, look at what's going on. Iran has long been known as a master of media manipulation. This is Trump. And public relations. They are militarily ineffective and weak, but are really good at feeding the very appreciative fake news media false information. So the fake news media is just so thankful. Thank you, Iran. You have great AI. You have great marketing skills. You're just feeding us all the information we need to know so that we can just rejoice that, he's basically saying American media is rejoicing that America is crashing and burning. Why would we rejoice at America's downfall? We live here. Why would we want it to, and I say this, maybe there are people that want America to fall that are in our media. Who knows? Maybe they are liberal leftists, that just desire to see their whole country in flames and civil, social, conflict with other countries. Who knows? But the average person doesn't want to see this. And people like myself that are looking at this are trying to, give the truth of what's going on here so that maybe if there's any possibility this could be turned around, but I don't think there is. I think that there's too much ego involved and too much monetary interest involved in making this happen the way it's going. It's like people took the bait. You got the military industrial complex making a huge amount of money. I think there's a lot of interest there. So it says now AI has become another disinformation weapon that Iran uses quite well, considering they are being annihilated by the day. They show phony kamikaze boats shooting at various ships at sea, which looks wonderful, powerful, and vicious, but these boats don't exist. It's all false information to show how tough their already defeated military is. So if the military is defeated and they're not as tough as they're showing themselves to be, then we should just pass on through that straight. We shouldn't have anything to worry about, right? Because they're already defeated. So let's just don't worry about getting NATO in there and helping us. We don't need it. We don't need NATO warships coming in there. We've already defeated them. It's just all AI propaganda, right? There's nothing to worry about. Just send our ships in there now. We're fine now. Trump says we won. I believe him. Get in there. Let's just get in there and start sending our ships through there. What? Right? And then he says again, the 5 U.S. refueling planes that were supposedly struck down and badly damaged, according to the Wall Street Journal's false reporting and others, are all in service, with the exception of one, which will soon be flying the skies. Now, he had to say this again. This is the second time he said this in in 2 posts in one day. It's like I guess he didn't think that we heard him on the first time. It's like he's got to make sure it's emphatically burned into our brain that this is fake news. These planes that were just getting serviced are just fine. Now, that's not to mention the one that crashed, the one that had a lot of damage to it. Buildings and ships that are shown to be on fire are not. It's fake news. Oh, so the Citibank building in Abu Dhabi, I think it was not on fire? Bases all throughout the Middle East that have been attacked by missiles were not on fire? Those are fake? So, I mean, U.S. flag tankers that are on fire in the Strait are fake? Is that fake? So he's telling me that's fake? Ships that are on fire are fake. It's AI. Buildings that are on fire are fake. It's all fake. So none of this we're seeing is real? Well, maybe we're just in some alternate universe. Maybe we're being deceived by the AI. Maybe Trump is right. Maybe Epstein really wasn't a bad guy after all. Maybe there was no real victims. Maybe this is all just, we're living in fantasy land. Maybe we need to reevaluate where we really stand here, guys. Maybe we've been sold a bill of goods. Maybe all these trolls are right that come in here that say that we're spewing fake news. Buildings and ships that are shown to be on fire are not. It's fake news generated by AI. For instance, Iran is working in close coordination with the fake news media, and it shows our great USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier, one of the largest and most prestigious ships in the world, burning uncontrollably in the ocean. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't fake AI videos out there. There is. But that doesn't mean everything that's happening is fake. You know what I'm saying? Just because there's a fake AI video of the Iranians do that all the time. They'll use their media propaganda videos where they show missiles coming and hitting the ship. Obviously, that's fake. We know it's fake. Why is he telling us it's fake when everybody knows it's fake? Did anybody think that our Abraham Lincoln got attacked? I didn't think it got attacked. I hadn't heard it got attacked. I didn't think that any AI video was real about Abraham Lincoln getting attacked. Now, I know that the Abraham Lincoln has problems with the toilet system. It's been I think it's Abraham Lincoln, or is it the Ford, the USS Ford? One of them has been having toilet issues for like 8 months from last year. They still haven't fixed, and they overflow, and there's like 4. It's just absolutely sickening. Some of the videos that are coming out about these poor kids on this ship that have to deal with this sewage problem. And it's just an ongoing, and they haven't been able to fix it. I don't know what's going on with that, but you got to go check that out. It's just disgusting. Why don't they fix the toilets? It says not only was it not burning, but it was not even shot at. Iran knows better than to do that. The story was knowingly fake, and in a certain way, you can say that those media outlets that generated it should be brought up on charges for treason, for the dissemination of false information. So, who generated this Abraham Lincoln ship on fire? Now, that's what we have to know. If it's truly and clearly, I haven't even seen it. Let's take a look. I didn't even know there was a video out there on this. Let's see if I can find it. USS Abraham Lincoln on fire. Let's see. I like I said, I haven't even seen it. This is WAN News. Abraham Lincoln flees after hit by missiles. This is 2 days ago. And this outlet, I think, is, I think it's an Indian outlet. And from what I understand, it's a pretty large network. This network here is ION News or YION News. So they're saying that this is legit. Let me see. They're saying that this is AI. It says Iran claims that USS Abraham Lincoln fleeing after missile strike. Well, obviously that's fake. Duh. Oh my gosh. Does anybody believe that that's real? Come on. Who in their right mind actually thinks that that's real? It's fake. We all know this is fake. Come on. Oh my gosh. This is just... Trump's mad at this? It says it's an AI generated video at the top. It says AI generated video right there. Nobody's putting out fake news. This is just obviously everybody knows that's fake. That's a fake AI generated video. What, does people think it was real? Is that what Trump is saying? That he thought people thought it was real? So I guess we're not allowed to use AI, huh? If it has something to do with national security, or if it's actually making fun, or if it's showing something that somebody wants to see. I mean, there are people out there that, you know, fantasize about things happening, and they're probably putting out this image in this AI video of what they obviously we know it's AI, but he makes it sound like they did it to make it seem like it was real. Like, I don't think anybody believed it was real. Do you? Anyway, that's the first time I've seen it. But anyways, it says, he says that Iran knows better than to do that. The story was knowingly fake. And in a certain way, you can say that those media outlets that generated it should be brought up on charges for treason for the dissemination of false information. The fact is, Iran is being decimated, and the only battles they win are those that they create through AI and are distributed by corrupt media outlets. The radical left-wing press, and by the way, if they created this AI video and it's being shown, it's being shown as a news, as informational news to show what they're saying, what they're trying to project, you know, what's in their propagandized mindset. It's not like we believe it. I don't believe that. I saw that video and I don't believe that's real. Now, there might be aspects of their potential lethality still there, that they could hit us with a missile. I'm not saying it would be looking like the AI version, but they probably could hit with a hypersonic missile one of our ships. I don't think that there's a doubt that that could happen. I don't think that they're, without any of these little speedboats that they have, they've got underwater drones, they've got mines, they've got these little drone speedboats that go really fast and they swarm the ships. They do have those too. They still do have those. I don't think that those are all gone. I think they still have those as well. And this was kind of a symbolic representation of what they say they could do. It's kind of like them saying, hey, this is what we can do to you. You know, do they have the capability to do that? They might. I wouldn't put it past them. I don't know, though, for sure. The radical left-wing press knows this full well, but it continues to grow. Anyways, hold on one second. Let's see what else we got here. Really quickly, I want to... Let's see here. I'm going to do just a really quick little infomercial here, if you don't mind. Let me see if I'm on here. 1 second here. Okay, I want to play this for you really quick as just a little infomercial here while I get something done really quick here. I'll be right back. This has to do with our microgreens, our website. If you want to check that out, I just want you to understand how important it is to be, having food security and having your nutrients and all the good things that you probably need to sustain life and a quality of life, if you will, without being poisoned by pesticides and everything else. And especially in a time of crisis where prices are going to skyrocket, a little tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of seeds can create a nice little crop right in your house, a little urban farming right inside your house. That nobody can take. If you got a garden out there, you got to be worried about somebody going in there and getting your garden. But hey, check this out. This is information on what broccoli seeds can do. And we're doing the broccoli stuff too, because this is very important. Just listen to this for a minute and I'll be right back. I just got to do one really quick thing. This is like a little infomercial break for me. Hold on.
It's one nutrient that has been researched over 2,000 times, and 30 of those research projects involved human clinical trials, okay? So anytime something has been researched that much, it gets my attention. So I want to talk about it. Sulforaphane. It's not a vitamin, it's not a mineral, it's not a trace mineral, it's not a fatty acid, it's a phytonutrient. So the question is, why are researchers looking at this molecule? I mean, it's a tremendous amount of time and money to invest in this one nutrient. So before I get into what it does, let's first talk about where you can get it from, okay? Well, you can get them from many different plants, but the one that has the most is the broccoli sprout. Now, if we compare a broccoli sprout or even a broccoli microgreen, which I'm going to explain in a minute, into an adult broccoli vegetable, you have a factor of 10 to 100 times more sulforaphane in that baby plant than the adult vegetable. That's significant, not 100% more. I'm talking like 10 to 100 times more of this very specific sulforaphane nutrient. So we have this cycle from a seed to this adult plant. So it goes through a sprout phase, which is between 2 and 5 days. And then it goes through the next phase, which is the microgreen, right? Microgreens, you probably see them in the grocery store or at the farmer's market, but it takes 10 to 14 days to make a microgreen. Then you have baby greens, like the baby green lettuce leaf, which is between 15 to 40 days. And then the adult vegetable takes between 40 to 150 days. So if we break down this whole cycle of this plant, the majority of nutrients, especially the phytonutrients, they kind of spike between the 7th and the 14th day. And it's interesting because the average person consumes only like 1.5 cups of vegetables and basically almost zero amount of microgreens or sprouts, but they do consume a lot of grains, right? And so what's so different about the grain or the seed, which is the same thing, and the sprout or the microgreen is that the microgreen and the sprout have much less anti-nutrients, okay, than the seed does, and as the adult vegetable does. So across the board, these microgreens are not only so super concentrated with not just vitamins and minerals, but phytonutrients, the antioxidants, the things that can actually help you prevent cancer, but they also have the least amount of anti-nutrients that irritates the gut, that creates problems for people. But way more people consume the grains and they're getting a lot of anti-nutrients. They're getting a lot of phytic acid, which blocks minerals like zinc, calcium, iron, things like that. And they have no problem eating the grains, but they just don't eat enough microgreens or vegetables in general. Now, if you think about this, just the concentration of nutrients, you don't need nearly the quantities of microgreens or sprouts than you do the adult vegetable to get a good amount of nutrition. So you can actually have less of that. And for many people, that's a good thing because they have a hard time consuming 7 to 10 cups of vegetables. So if you're just doing a fraction of these microgreens, you can get a serious amount of these phytonutrients and the benefits of the phytonutrients. Big Farm.
Okay, I had to take that break really quick, and it's also good because you're supporting the channel if you do happen to get one of the kits, and we're going to give £2 if you do one of the sale ones. It's a 3 or 5 tray kit. We're going to throw in 2 pounds of wheat berries and wheat berries and also some beans. We'll give you some beans in there too, some bean sprouts, but they come with They already come with seed packs, so you'll get actually more if you happen to get the 2 sale ones. And I'll throw it in there without you even having to ask for it if you happen to purchase. But it's at zeolite.blog, and we're going to be doing some videos on how-tos. Maybe we'll do some real-time chats on sprouting and microgreen grows and how to do it. I'm going to show video here real soon on my setup. And I'm setting it up right now to do it. So I've got a rotation and, I've got kids and I want to make sure everybody's healthy and make sure that they get that. A lot of times kids don't like to eat vegetables, and I don't really eat that many vegetables. But if you eat like that, what he's talking about, you're getting a concentrated amount of good things that vegetables have in a small amount. And how many people actually do eat 7 cups of vegetables a day? Do you? I don't. I mean, I'll eat carbs and meat. I'll try to cut back on the carbs, but on proteins and things, but not as much vegetables that I probably should. But if you eat like that, hey, pennies on the dollar compared to what you're going to buy at the store. No pesticide laden, unless you're eating organic, and that's really expensive. I'll just say this is probably what you're going to want to have going on. Stockpile some seeds. They say that seeds are like gold in their weight. So the best thing you can invest in probably for your future is seeds. Make sure you got seeds. And no, if you can't garden, urban gardening, that's the way to do it. Urban garden. And there we go. So let's continue. I think we're going to almost finish up here. So this is Trump's recent statements. Radical left wing, he says, knows this full well, but continues to go forward with false stories and lies. That's why their approval rating is so low. I can win a presidential election. I mean, why does he got to keep talking about this? I mean, this is like, just move on, do something, show us what you can do. Not a big, massive global war. Just fix the economy. Please don't sound like you're some kind of, Messiah type person that is chronicled in biblical prophecy, always talking about eternal peace. And now you got a board of peace and everything else that goes along with that in Israel. It just sounds too eerily similar to what the prophecies of Scripture teach. My gosh, this is why I think we're in the end times. It says, in a landslide, getting only 5% positive press. Still talking about the election. And we're in a time of war, and he's sitting there trying to make sure you understand the record, the history. I got to go through the history again. Every time I tell you something, I got to go through history and make sure you understand, because you still don't get it. I'm going to say it again and again and again and again. How right I was, how the election was stolen, and how I overcome, and everybody loves me, and I'm the greatest of all time. I mean, like I fly like a butterfly and I sting like a bee. He sounds like Muhammad Ali, but on steroids. Getting only 5% positive press. They have no credibility. I am so thrilled to see Brenda Carr, the chairman of the Federal Communications Commission, looking at the licenses of some of these corrupt and highly unpatriotic news organizations. They get billions of dollars of free American airwaves and use it to perpetuate lies, both in the news and almost all of their shows, including the late night morons who get gigantic salaries of horrible ratings and never get, as I used to say in The Apprentice, fired. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President Donald J. Trump. And then Mark Levine. Gosh, I haven't even read these ones yet. Oh, let's see. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I want to read all this. It's just like, what doesn't he have something better to do? Doesn't he have a war to, he's just writing all of this long, verbose, redundant, tweets, social. I mean, like, doesn't he have a war to fight? I mean, look at how long this is. I'm not going to read that. That's huge. Come on, look at this. This is all today. This is all in the last few hours, actually. Look at how much there is there. My gosh. He's got to have he's got to get back to the war, man. Come on, Trump. Get back to the war. All right, so what else do we got? I think we're kind of in a lull right now. Doesn't seem like there's a whole lot going on. Just your average, blown up tanker ship. Oh, if you missed the get together this morning on our BP Ministries channel, make sure you go over there and check that out. Get spiritually fit. If you're not, understand what the scriptures teach and hear a prophetic word that is relevant to your everyday life and your eternal future. It's not just for time and space, right? We're actually time travelers here. We understand prophecy. I say that in a joke. We do understand the future, okay? I'm not saying we're time travelers. I'm just saying prophecy does look into the future, and it understands in the context of your current day life. Sometimes you do have insights into things that are to come, whether it's personal or whether it is the general place where everybody's going to end up, right? Wherever they're going to end up. But we talk all about this from a scriptural point of view. If you want to get down and really study the scriptures, then hang out, listen to what I'm saying, and if you want to go research and verify that it's sound doctrine, you just take the phrases. If I'm quoting scriptures, go plug it into a Google search, and you'll be able to see the full context. Anybody can research anything and question whatever. I have no problem with people questioning my doctrine or asking questions or making comments, or getting into that's why I keep the chats wide open. Wide open chat, like right now. Anybody got anything they want to say? I'm looking. My wife usually will tell me, somebody's asking you a question, so I'll look back in there to try to find it. Let's see. We talked all about that. I think we're pretty much done for tonight, right? Am I done? Do we have anything else, honey, that we need to talk about? Let's see if there's anything new. Oh, she just posted another thing here. Let's see. Okay, what is this? The IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard spokesperson says, quote, Trump didn't say he has destroyed Didn't Trump say that he destroyed the Iranian Navy? He should prove it. If he truly has the courage, let the ships enter the Persian Gulf. This is what the Iranians are saying. Isn't that crazy? The Iranian Revolutionary Guard spokesperson says also, most of the missiles we are currently firing were produced a decade ago. Many of the missiles we produced after the 12-day war have not yet been used. Oh, jeez. You gotta be kidding. Many of our missile depots are still untouched. That's what the Iranian spokesperson says. Yeah, so they still have lots of missiles, they're claiming. And they're saying, come on, Trump. This is what they're saying. Come on, Trump. You're telling everybody that we don't have a Navy and no missiles? Just come on in and try it then. That's what I'm saying. It's obvious to everybody that's watching that Trump is saying things that are just completely disconnected from reality. Anyways. The moringa tree? I didn't know that. Let me see. What is a moringa tree? Mark, let me see. I'm curious because I do have chickens. And I think about chicken feed disappearing. The thing that you want to have, though, is you want to make sure that you have a rooster if you got chickens. Because if you happen to not be able to get feed, the feed has a hormone in it. that causes them to produce eggs without a rooster. But if you happen to lose the feed that has the hormone in it, then you need a rooster to give the hormone to the chickens so that they can still produce eggs. All right? So make sure that you understand that you need a rooster or two, depending on how many chickens you got. So I'm looking at this. Morinda, where does it grow? It says drought resistant, native to in northern India and used extensively Southeast Asia. Common. Can you grow it here? Where can we grow it? Can we grow it? It does look pretty cool. Okay. That's good to know. I'm always looking for things like that to know, to learn something about how to keep our chickens producing. Because, you know, it could affect feed and everything like that too. And, well, it already is. It's already kind of gone up in price, but he said that we sunk 42 Iranian ships. Did we sink them? What do you guys think? Who knows? I don't know what to believe. I don't know. I mean, if Trump says something, I don't even know. I mean, it could be true. It probably isn't, because he does like to exaggerate. And I've seen so many things that he said that weren't actually true. So, I mean, I just take everything he says with a grain of salt. I mean, it's just like when I listen to Iranian propaganda. I take it with a grain of salt. I'm not sure. It could be true. It could be propaganda. Same thing with Trump. It could be true. It could be I don't know what to believe. I am surely not going to swallow it hook, line, and sinker like some people do. I mean, that to me is just absolutely, you know, getting yourself set up to be disillusioned. It's a superfood for humans too. I didn't know that, Mark. It's zone 8. You can grow it in zone 8. Zone 8, huh? I wonder if I'm in zone 8. Has the health benefits for humans as well? Really? I'm gonna have to see if we can grow that. Let me make sure I got this saved. That's a good idea. Shoot. Dang, that's awesome. You can put it in a salad and cook with your greens and make moringa tea. Wow. It's a food I would add to other things, not eat straight all the time. Oh, gotcha. Wow, that's pretty cool, Mark. How many of you guys out there have a garden? Let's see. Let's type 1 in the chat if you have a garden. Kind of curious to see how many people out there got gardens. How many of you out there have chickens? Type 2 if you got chickens. See if you got chickens out there. You know, you got to have protein too, you know. If you can't get protein at the store, where are you going to get it? You know how to fish? You know how to hunt? Do you have a place to go to actually hunt and fish? Bobby Ricky says he's got a garden. It's 5:30 a.m. in the UK. Wow, that's early. JFU says 1 and 2. And Wendy says 1 and 2. That's good. You guys are awesome, man. I think everybody should be thinking about having chickens and, you know, making sure that you've got a garden or some place that you can get produce from that is organic, that are local gardeners, you know, local supply. You got to have local supply. Get to know somebody that knows how to garden, you know, if they got a garden operation. Kathleen says 1 and 2. Hick Gal says 1, so she's got a garden. Mark's got a garden. Tangible Hope says, I just planted 3 things, this, that, and the other. Literally 3 plants. Hick Gal also has chicks. That's good. My chicks are getting bigger. They're now like, they're starting to come out of that cute little chick stage now. They're starting to look like little baby raptors. Okay, so we got some more here. Let's see. I think we got another news update here. There is currently no plan to deploy the Japanese Navy to the Middle East for vessel escort duties, Japanese Prime Minister Sanai Takachi said. So, Japanese Navy is not coming. Australia will not send naval ships to assist in reopening the Strait of Hormuz, a government minister said on Monday. So, I guess Trump's going to be mad at Australia now, too. He's going to be mad at the Japanese. He's going to be mad at the Australians. Who else is not going to send their ships to help us? Because Trump did say he was going to be holding them accountable. He said, we're going to remember if you didn't come and help. We're going to remember, right? If we're still here. If we still have a viable, dominant, economic, hegemony, world reserve currency. Because if we don't, it don't matter then. Nobody cares. Because you're not powerful anymore, right? You lost it. So let's just see. I want to see what he said about this. I want to go over that one last thing. Okay, here it is. Here's what Trump said about this is what he said earlier today. Many countries, especially those who are affected by Iran's attempted closure of the Hormuz Strait, will be sending warships. So he says many countries are sending warships in conjunction with the United States of America to keep the strait open and safe. So we've already got a whole bunch of different countries, he said. He didn't name them, but he says a whole bunch of countries. We have already destroyed 100% of Iran's military capability. 100%. I shouldn't have to worry about anything then, right? Right? All right. Then he says, but it's easy for them to send a drone or two, drop a mine, or deliver a close-range missile somewhere along or in this waterway, no matter how badly defeated they are. Now, this is what he says. Hopefully, China, France, Japan, South Korea, the UK, and others that are affected by this artificial constraint, this is artificial, it's not real, will send ships to the area so that the Strait of Hormuz will no longer be a threat by a nation that has been totally decapitated. I didn't know that a nation could be a threat if they're decapitated. You know, because when you cut someone's head off, that's what a decapitation is. I don't think you can function anymore, right? Don't you just kind of bleed out really quick and you're pretty much not able to do anything? You're not a threat anymore, are you? Unless, of course, you're a snake. But even then, just don't get near the chomping head that's just sitting there by itself. Remember I told you I cut the head off of a rattlesnake once and the head just kept going like this? And I was like, dang, that thing still wants to bite me. Okay, so decapitation should mean neutralization. So we shouldn't have to worry, right? We shouldn't be worried. If he decapitated Iran, then we're good, right? Come on all over. Come on and help. We got it good. We decapitated them. We're good. But I don't think that's the case. I think Trump is bloviating once again. Bloviating. He's Norman Vincent Peale in it. Positive confession in it. Think and grow rich in it. Like Napoleon Hill. Think and grow rich. What is it? Positive confession. Fake it until you make it. Just keep on saying positive talk because everybody wants to believe big, even if it's not true. It's called creative hyperbole. Just give them something that they can get excited about, even if it's not true, because they want to believe. You got to give them something to believe in. That's what Trump says in his book, by the way, The Art of the Deal. So this is the deal. He's trying to make a deal here, guys. He's making a deal with you, and he's making a deal with the countries of the world that he's now the chairman of the Board of Peace. He's going to bring eternal peace to the whole world. This is eternal peace. This is an artificial constraint, and we will send ships to the area so that the Hormuz Strait will no longer be a threat by a nation that has been totally decapitated. In the meantime, the United States will be bombing the hell out of the shoreline. We're going to be bombing the hell out of the shoreline? What's the matter with the shoreline? Is there something on the shoreline? What's on the shoreline? And continually shooting Iranian boats and ships out of the water. I thought he just said that 100% of them were destroyed. How are we going to be shooting boats and ships out of the water if 100% of them are destroyed? And then we're going to be bombing just a shoreline? What's on the shoreline? A bunch of crabs and sand? What are we bombing on the shoreline? I don't know. One way or the other, we will soon get the Strait of Hormuz open, safe, and free. President Donald J. Trump. Now, he didn't say, thank you for your attention to this matter. I wonder why. Normally, he ends his tirades and statements of fact with, thank you for your attention to this matter. But this time he didn't. I wonder why. Is he not confident? Is he not positive on this one? Anyways, I think we're done. I'm just saying. Anyways, I think we're done. Let's see. Okay. So let's talk a little bit. I know there's a lot of people chatting in the chat about how do we survive this chaos that's coming, because I do think chaos is coming. Rabbits are good. You know why? Because they will give you fertilizer for your garden that you can put right on there immediately. And if you got ducks, that's a good thing too, because you can make duck stew. And I don't mean the duck itself. If you got like a little pond and they go in that pond, well, it kind of gives like a tea. You can kind of use that as fertilizer to water your garden with. It's mostly good right away. Now, chickens, you got to let it cool down because it's a hot mess. You know, the chicken manure is not something you want to put on your plants right away. You got to let that simmer down. Simmer down now. We got to let that simmer down. And got to get rid of that shoreline. I love coffee, man. Coffee's great. The caffeine anointing. I need the caffeine anointing. Yeah, ICS drivers. That's it. Captain Chaos. Captain Chaos. Well, there was a cartoon. Remember that cartoon, Captain Caveman? I could just see it. Trump like Captain Caveman, but instead we'll call it Captain Chaos. Remember that? Captain Caveman. He can say Captain Chaos. Let's see if I can find that. I'll bet you anything I can find it on YouTube. Captain Caveman yell. Yeah, he would be like all, Caveman. This is the opening. Now, just think Trump and then him yelling Captain Chaos. Like, he could be saying, Captain Chaos. This would be perfect. I can make a meme out of this, I think. Captain Chaos. Because he is the captain of chaos. Look at this.
Captain Caveman! Set free by the teen angels from his prehistoric block of glacier ice comes the world's first superhero, Captain Caveman!
Because Trump, Captain Chaos! I don't know why, but I could see that being a nice little meme for those old timers that like cartoons from the 80s. How many of you guys are cartoon aficionados? People that actually used to watch a lot of cartoons in the 80s or 70s. I don't know. Was that like a 70s or was that an 80s? Yeah, it was 70s, 80s, and 90s. This was a retro cartoon. It was actually back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Wow. That went on for a while. Yeah, it was back in the 70s, mostly in the 70s, I bet. I'm looking at some of the comments here. Somebody says, I am a heavy weapons guy. I am a heavy weapons caveman. I carry a big old club. Pull out my club. Like, knock you over the head with it. Hanna-Barbera. Yeah, because those were Hanna-Barbera cartoons, remember? Hanna-Barbera cartoons? They had a bunch of them. I'm trying to remember all the Hanna-Barbera cartoons. Remember that? Back in the day? How many of you are old enough to remember Hanna-Barbera? There was Flintstones. There was Huckleberry Hound. There was Boo Boo Bear. What was it? Yogi Bear and Boo Boo Bear. Remember that? Scooby Doo. And let's see what else. There's a whole bunch of Scooby Doo. Remember Scooby Doo? I used to love Scooby Doo. And the Jetsons. The Jetsons. Remember the Jetsons? Do, 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 do. We're actually in the Jetsons right now, aren't we? What is some of this other ones here? There's a whole bunch of these Hanna-Barbera cartoons. I remember this. Slowpoke Rodriguez, remember? And what was his name? Slowpoke Rodriguez was the other guy with the other one that was really fast. What was his name? He's like, andale, andale, arriba, arriba. And he would be like the little thing going really quick. He was like the little mouse. What the heck was his name? There was Slowpoke Rodriguez and then the other one. And then Wile E. Coyote. Wile E. Coyote Looney Tunes? The best. The best in the day, right? Heck yeah. Oh, and you can't forget the cat and the little mouse. What the heck was that? Tom and Jerry. Remember Tom and Jerry? Speedy Gonzales. That was it, Wendy. Speedy Gonzales. Bugs Bunny was awesome too. I love Bugs Bunny. Saturday cartoons, when you get up in the morning, remember? You got to get up early in the morning. After they turned back on the TV, because back in the 70s, man, they would shut the TV off. You only had 3 channels. And you go to bed at night, they put you to bed, goes to a snowy screen. You can't see it until you wake up in the morning, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. Saturdays were always exciting because I would wake up just waiting for that TV to go on. As soon as it comes on, it's like, oh, say, can you see? Oh, that was when they put you to bed. I forgot. They want to make sure they propagandized you enough that you loved your country. You love your country? We're going to put you to bed. Here's the flag. Here's your anthem. When you wake up in the morning, cartoons for all. Saturday morning, Schoolhouse Rock. Oh, yeah, Schoolhouse Rock. Dubai International Airport is on fire. I know. I think we showed some pictures on that. But Trump said it's fake news, Arnold, so not sure if we should believe it. He said it's not happening. He said nothing's on fire, no ships, no buildings. He said that's all fake news. So we shouldn't be talking about this. He said if you talk about or if you report it, you're treasonous. So don't want to be treasonous. We'll make sure. Bite our tongue. It's not happening. Speedy Gonzales, man, Speedy Gonzales was the awesome one. But you know what? That's racist. We can't be watching cartoons like that. Speedy Gonzales making fun of Mexicans. That's like, and I'm Mexican. I got some Mexican in me, so I take offense at Speedy Gonzales. The Rooster cartoon was, I'm trying to remember that one. It was, he had the little chicken hawk. I'm a chicken hawk. I'm a chicken hawk. Remember, he was always thinking he was really bad. He's a little chicken hawk. And the rooster, what was his, Rhode Island Red? I think it was a Rhode Island Red. The good old days. Yeah, Foghorn Leghorn. That's it. That was it. That was it. I think, was that the name of the cartoon? He's like, I'm a chicken hawk. And he was always trying to do stuff, but he was just so small that he couldn't do anything. Yeah, Foghorn Leghorn. And what was the other one? Did you guys ever watch those other ones? Like, what was this one called? It had the frog, Freddy the Frog, and Henrietta Hippo. Those were the stupidest things I think I've ever seen. I remember I used to watch that, and I'd be like, this is just absolutely insane. Who watches this kind of stuff? Henrietta Hippo and Freddy the Frog. Remember that? And they had the two humans that were like their friends. Henrietta Hippo. Let me see if I can find that one. That's got to be on here too, I bet. Henrietta Hippo. Yeah, here it is. And the Freddy the Frog. Do you guys remember this? Oh my gosh. La, 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 the New Zoo Review.
It's the New Zoo Review, coming right at you, with three delightful animals, have fun with what they do.
No way, this is crazy. Look at that guy. He looks Jewish. Is he Jewish? Let's see. Okay, look. Let's see if I remember the song.
Sammy Joe.
With Freddy.
Charlie.
We have fun learning what we don't know.
We have fun learning what we don't know. Henrietta Hippo, Freddy the Frog, and what was the guy? What was the owl's name? I forgot.
What we Freddy.
Charlie.
Charlie the Owl. Okay, Charlie the Owl. I just thought it was kind of cringy. I never really watched it that much, but it just stuck in my head for some reason. I guess that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to stick in your head. You know, they do these things on purpose. You'll never forget. Never forget. I don't know. Ren and Stimpy was a little bit, it was a little, you know, that was like a 90s, or wasn't that around 90s to 2000, Ren and Stimpy? I think it was like a early 2000s, late 90s. Not sure about Fragile Rock. The Owl was Jewish. Gumby was great. Yeah, I remember Gumby. Those would always freak me out. The Gumby and Pokey. You remember when they were like the Kachina dolls? That always like freaked me out when I was a kid. The Kachina dolls, Gumby and Pokey. Kachina dolls. Let's see if I can find it. Kachina dolls. Yeah, that was also scary, man. I was so scared of these rain spirits. Gumby and the rain spirits. Remember that?
No Indians ever got lost.
What were you looking for?
Medicine Man told me to visit rain spirits and ask them to give rain so that our corn will grow.
So our corn would grow. Yes, they were praying to these demonic spirits, and I was like so scared when they would go into this little cave.
Do you know what rain spirits look like, little Hobie?
They look like my Kachina doll I received from Giver Kachina.
I just wanted to squeeze them. I just wanted to squeeze them like Play-Doh. Come on, Pokey.
What was that, Pokey?
I was tasting one of these icicles and it fell down.
Those aren't icicles, Pokey. Those hanging up there are stalactites, and those...
Anyway, so the scary part, I think if I remember correctly, there was a scary part in here that I was like so scared when I was a little kid. I was like, this is so scary. Okay, I think this was it here. Oh, that was so scary. The Kachina spirits caused it to rain. Yeah, that was weird. So it's all about Indians. And they were like these little claymation. Hey, but you know what? I'll tell you which one really got me. The claymation actually, I think it was a Seventh-day Adventist cartoon. Well, not a cartoon, claymation. It was Davy and Goliath. If it wasn't for Davy and Goliath, I would have probably not had too many morals or any belief, like kind of like sowed the seeds of belief. Even though it was I think it was a Seventh-day Adventist cartoon. How many of you guys ever watched this? I think it's Seventh-day Adventist. And they used to have this on regular TV, and it was about this little kid named David and his dog Goliath, and his dog like would talk. Yeah, okay, so it's United Lutheran Church. So this was made by the United Lutheran Church. And they would like teach little moral values. You know, every episode was like a little moral value type thing. This is when Davy got stuck in a cave. I remember that. See, I even remember this. He got stuck in a cave. He got lost. Oh, Davy. This is what he sounds like. Oh, Davy. That's the way the dog would sound. Listen.
Look where we are.
There's no way out.
Unless you're a bat.
Did that not sound like him? Unless you're a bat. It almost kind of sounds like a cross between like Forrest Gump. Why, Forrest Gump? My name's Forrest Gump. People call me Forrest Gump. But anyways, that was Davy and Goliath. Now, I think I actually learned something about God by watching these. And I think it's a great thing that they put this out for kids, because there was a lot of people that didn't have any kind of background in faith or anything. And that was those. I used to watch those all the time when I was a kid. And I was like, wow, this is like, there's something about these little cartoons that I liked. And, little more moral values and always a lesson from the Bible, always a little teaching or something. This was back in the day, like this is claymation. They didn't even have animation really. I mean, it was kind of like, this was back in the 70s. It had to be the 70s. Yeah. Look at this, got 500,000 views. This video here I got to share this with my kids. Maybe they'll like it. Maybe they'll like it too. What do you think? Davy. You're an 80s kid and all these still played on TV back then? Yeah. Anyways, guys, I know it's late. I better get going. I pray you're all doing well, and then you'll have a great evening and a great day and a great life. If I don't see you again, just keep your faith strong. Everybody has a life. Sometimes they pass through and they're only here for once. Sometimes they come back. You're always, life is very strange, Life is so strange, your destination unknown. But hey, you can have an unknown destination if you really trust the Lord and start seeking his will for your life. He'll give you a destination, and then you're going to know these things were written that you might know that you have eternal life. Okay? You want to know what your eternal future holds? Then you can have a destination that you know is secure. Then read the scriptures. Meditate on them day and night. Pray the promise. God gives you a promise. Pray over it. Embrace it as your own. Many of these promises are all throughout Scripture. They're precious, great and exceedingly precious. It says these great and exceedingly precious promises that have been given to us, that by these we might be partakers of the divine nature, having escaped the corruption that's in the world caused by lust. So through the great and exceeding precious, I think it says it. Let me read it, make sure I got it correct before I go. This is the last scripture, then I got to go. Exceedingly, let's see if I got it right. Precious promise. Let's see if I got it correct. 2 Peter chapter 1, verses 4. It says, through these, he's talking about, in the context there, he's talking about the promises, right? Let me read the whole thing. His divine power has given us everything we need for a godly life through our knowledge of him who has called us by his own glory and goodness, by our knowledge, right? And then it says that through these, he has given us his very great and precious promises, so that through them, you may be able to participate in the divine nature, having escaped the corruption that's in the world caused by evil desires or by lust, right? So in order to be set free from your fallen nature, everybody has a fallen nature. They're born into it. They're born into sin, right? It's original sin, whatever you want to call it. It's a part of who you are. And in order for that transformation to take place, you got to put your trust in these great and exceedingly great, precious promises. And that by them, you will escape, you will participate in the divine nature, and you will escape the corruption that's in the world. So divine nature is what is needed to escape the corruption. So if you don't have the divine nature as a seed planted in your soul, it's not going to liberate you. And it's a divine seed that is eternal. It's uncreated. It's the life that is God as a seed is planted in your soul. And then when it begins to grow and you begin to nurture it and you begin to feed it, and like that microgreen, you let that thing grow, and then it begins to you give your life nutrient, like nacho nutrients in the nucleus. And your heart and soul then begins to prosper. And then God is going to accomplish all of his perfect will in your life, because you can't do it on your own, right? There's no way you're going to be able to save yourself. Nobody can save themselves. It's got to be God. So put your trust in him and he'll save you. Amen. God bless everybody. I'll be talking to you again real soon. The Lord bless you. The Lord keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you. The Lord be gracious to you and give you peace. Shalom in Christ. Amen. Amen. Hong Kong Phooey. I remember that one. Hong Kong Phooey. Da-da-da-da-da-da. I remember that one. Thank you too, Milo. I'm glad that you got back on. God bless, Milo. God bless. God bless all of you out there. We'll talk.